Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here, and I've been wanting to do this for a while now. I actually wanted to talk with Hawk about this, but we might revisit this in a part two once I get Hawk back into the mix. But he's very very busy, and he's trying to get himself in a better situation with he and his wife. So right now, and I don't mean their marriage or anything like that. It's just more of a other type of situation. So but I'm still talking to him, and he seems like he's doing very well. So I'll do everything I can. He'll do everything he can to try to get back onto the podcast. But he's sending out his apologies, and he hopes that everybody can understand. Okay, so I wouldn't want to do this for a while, but my boy over at Subjective Reviews did one already about comic book accuracy. I saw it. I actually thought it was really good, very well done, and he calls it his BS. So from both sides' perspective, and I think that's really cool because it's he's evolving his channel a little bit and not having a one linear type of storytelling. Now that's one of the things I like about me and Hawk because Hawk he does what he likes and he's very stubborn about it, and that's perfectly fine. Me, I am pretty stubborn about what I want and what I like, but I can also give some flexibility towards certain things. It has to make to me it has to make sense. I will always flex to it if it means it makes sense. Um, now, he talked about comic book accuracy versus the source material. Do we really need comic book accuracy or complete off the source material? Now, this has been one subject that's been one of the big bases of how MCU has been very, very successful. And everyone's got to realize that that's one of the biggest things that makes them successful. They're not going off of, they're just using the source material, but they're not adapting it exactly, and they're throwing away comic book accuracy just to tell a story. And to me, that means that they can do whatever the heck they want. They can change whatever the heck they want. No. Um my firm belief is this, and this is where I use Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder takes adaptations, he changes certain things, certain concepts, but he doesn't change the full design. Think about that. Because look, let's go to Superman. Let's go to Man of Steel. Throughout the movie, everyone's biggest complaint was he doesn't feel like Superman. He doesn't feel joyous. He doesn't feel happy. Well, if you look at the story, he's been hiding himself away. He's not been exploring his powers. His parents have been hiding him away because they're in fear of two things. One, maybe his parents will show up. Maybe the people that dropped him off will show up. And then two, the government will find out and they're all going to be freaking arrested. So there are a lot of things that made Mom and Pa can't really hamper Clark from really exploring his powers and everything he can do. Now, when he was having, now we saw a couple of flashbacks of him in when he was very little, and he had and his senses started going flaring off. He was having X-ray vision, and he was flipping out like what the heck is going on. He's hearing things from a far distance. He's looking into people. He's looking through people's bodies, seeing their skeletal frame, the brain, the eyeballs. Dude, it flips a kid out. He was flipping out, and what did his mom do? His mom calmed him down, but she realized, okay, I gotta calm him down so I can get him out of here and get him home, and we could try to figure it out. Um, Another instance is what happened with him on the bus. The bus, a tire blew out. The guy tried to keep it straight, but it flew off the bridge and it landed right into the water. Well, he could have saved himself and left and said, "Nope, I'm good," and got the heck out of there. But what did he do? He saved all those kids' lives without no risk. He said, "I don't I couldn't let them die." Now, isn't that the basis of Superman? That he's willing to save people's lives, even if it means that his own life is going to be completely changed. They didn't look at that. No one saw those little small little nuggets. They didn't see the fact of him standing up to that guy in the bar, saving that girl from getting molested by that dude. Yeah, he flipped out and tore the guy's freaking car almost completely in half. Okay, okay, that's a little unlike Superman, but you also got to realize this isn't him. He's not Superman. He's not Superman. This is Clark Kent being Clark Kent. And you realize throughout the whole time he's been bullied his whole life and he could never do anything about it. So, but there are little instances where you see that he is Superman, but you also seeing that he's a regular person that just hates being bullied. What would you want him to do? Turn the other cheek? No. No, that's what he's been doing his whole life, and he's sick and tired of it. He wants to hurt somebody. He wants to be able to do something. And his dad's telling him like, "Hey, listen, you can do it." He goes, "Hey, there's a part of me that actually wants you to punch this kid's lights out, but you also going to realize what type of person going to turn out to be if you ever just start doing stuff like that. The moment you get angry, you just let out your feelings and just start destroying things. You got to learn how to hold back and also show off what you could truly do." So those little small little nuggets, no one saw it. They were just looking at the surface level of what Zack Snyder was doing, and they didn't like it. That's perfectly fine. You can look at the surface level and think whatever, but you cannot come on and start complaining and think you're going to get into a debate and then huff and puff and then troll yourself into thinking that people are gonna understand your point of view. Well, there's people out there that actually saw that as an inspiration, like I just illustrated. Um, there are times when we're seeing people getting bullied, and we don't want to get anything involved. We don't want to get involved. All it takes is one person to stand up and go, "Hey, leave that person alone," and you're sitting there just like, whatever, dude. You don't want to get involved. That guy's a hero for getting involved to stop something like that. Or kids being bullied, and he comes over and grabs up the kid and says, "Hey, leave the kid alone," and basically drops him. There are times you have to stand up to a bully. And that's what Jonathan Kent was trying to illustrate to Clark. Then we get to the point where one of the biggest seeds in Man of Steel that really turned everyone off. And that's because people did not see the context before the situation. And that was Jonathan Kent's death. Jonathan Kent's death was actually the most pivotal scene of his growth. Because at the very beginning of the whole scene, he was complaining, "You guys don't know anything. You just found me in a cornfield. You're not my real parents." Because he wants to leave. He wants to go do something with his life. And his father's trying to tell him, "So you think that being a farmer is lesser than yourself? It's lesser than anything?" And what was the thing? Clark had nothing to say about it. He just flipped out and got angry over the fact that he's sick and tired of his parents telling him what to do when he should be going to do whatever the heck he wants, which is a teenage rebellion. He was going through his rebellious years. And what happened? His dad, a tornado comes down. Everyone evacuates. His dad tells him, "Get everyone over to the off ramp, to the on ramp. Get them all hidden. Maybe the tornado will turn." The family dog is stuck in their car. He goes back, not Clark, but Jonathan goes back because he knew that his son would actually just sit there and he would do something stupid. He knew it. He knew he would. He would use his strength. He will rip the door off. He'll grab the pooch and he'll try to run. He'll try to use his super speed and run. So what did Jonathan do? He did what any father would do, not letting his son go and get himself hurt. He went out there, did it, got himself trapped, messed up his ankle. He couldn't get back. The dog ran off. And in that moment, he said, "No, I'm going to go save my dad." And his dad put his hand up and said, "No, you're not ready. We're not ready. Nobody's ready for this yet." And he allowed his father to die because he had to trust his father. That was the last line he said right after the whole situation. I allowed my father to die because I had to trust him because of the fact of I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I didn't understand the consequences of his actions. Now, people are sitting there saying, "Well, he can move faster than the blink of an eye." But you also got to realize there were people behind him. Look at the concept. Look at the context of the scene. There were people behind him. They were looking at Jonathan Kent, watching this whole situation. They saw a man out there. If they blink and see that guy gone and the guy in front of them is gone, they're going to go, "Wait a minute, what the heck just happened?" And a dust of wind just goes up. It makes no sense. You truly think that no one out of those party members are gonna say something to the police? No one's gonna say something to the FBI or any government official comes around sniffing around by this? You just had another scene where he saved the bus full of kids, and Pete Ross's mom said that we need to tell everybody this is providence. Your son got blessed by God. And they're like, oh boy, this is all in the movie. But they didn't see that. They were watching the fact of, oh my God, he just allowed his dad to die. What the hell is that about? He could have saved him. Really? If you were there and you saw a dude who was standing in front of you, suddenly, boom, you hear a massive sonic boom, and dust comes up, and out of nowhere, that guy who was originally there is now gone. There's some people who are like, hey, wait, whoa, what's going on here? What happened? What happened? They're gonna start talking about this. Now, if by them eliminating those small things, guess what happens? No one starts snooping around. No one looks around. You had Lois doing reporting. She found out about Clark and went all the way back. She says, start at the beginning, no, start at the end, and then work your way all the way back to the beginning. Where did it originally start from? And she went back to Smallville. But no one was looking at this movie that way. They weren't looking at the layers. This movie was an onion. So was BVS. BVS was an onion. There's a lot more stuff in BVS than generally talked about, and that's because everybody was looking at it as a surface level movie. They weren't looking at it as a subjective movie. They weren't looking at it as a layered movie. There were layers inside of Man of Steel. There was layers inside BVS. People were complaining that they're portraying Superman as a Jesus figure. Well, he's created by two Jewish men. Of course he's going to be revered in a Jesus-like figure. And in some cases, Moses. That's been the staple point of his character. To me, and I'm being completely honest, if people are defending it that way, you don't know Superman. You don't know Superman. You just know the Superman from the cartoons that was already pre-made after 40 years of storytelling. That's what Zack Snyder was doing. He was bringing a level of adaptation by still sticking to the comic book accuracy of who the character is. That's what I want. That's what I want. And there's certain things that you cannot bring to the table. There's certain designs that won't work in live action. It looks very, very cartoony. Looks too cartoony. You gotta modernize certain things, certain designs, certain character designs, especially their costumes. Now, actors and actresses. My whole thing is there's so much story you could tell. There's so much story. Black Canary has not been around since the 80s. She's been around since the 50s. Black Canary's been around since the 50s. Go do a little research. Dinah Drake, who was the original Black Canary, she met a gentleman whose name was Larry Lance. They had a daughter named Dinah Laurel Lance. During the whole Crisis on Infinite Earths, Dinah Drake went bye-bye. Dinah Laurel Lance came into place, and you found out that she was born with her powers. Dinah Drake just had the sonic scream that was the technology created. I believe that was by Dr. Midnight, and she had just martial art ability. That's it. She was just skilled enough to take on a few men. While Dinah Laurel Lance has the sonic cry, she could generate it through her vocal cords. And she has phenomenal martial art ability. So all I ask for is comic book accuracy to that. I want the design of the character. If Dinah Laurel Lance is originally blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white chick, I would like to have that, please. And don't hide behind the fact of what's wrong with that. And I go, what's wrong with introducing Vixen? What's wrong with introducing Rocket? You go, who? I go, there you go. You don't know these characters. If you're going to talk about changing the sex and a race of a character, how about do a little bit of research? There's a plethora of characters that joined the Birds of Prey or didn't join, and you can just bring them in. This whole movie, Birds of Prey, is mostly about Harley. It has little to do with it has little to do with Black Canary, Huntress, and Orphan. Has little to do with them. This movie is Harley's movie. This is the first Harley movie. So that's where I'm at. And I'm not saying that I want accuracy, I want the whole complete picture, or don't do it at all. In some occasions, that's what Hawk wants, and that's fine. He's very stalwart about it. But there's certain things that you can do and you can change, and he'd be perfectly okay with it. He'd be like, okay, I'll give that an opportunity. But when it comes to things like this, changing Black Canary to a black woman just because she was black in one little instance in the comic makes no sense versus Donna Laura Lance, who's been white hair, blonde hair, blue, white, and white since 1980. That's literally 30 years, close to 40 years now. She from her first publication. That's all I'm asking. If you want more diverse characters, bring them in. The one thing I'll give to Supergirl is they introduced Dreamer. People are like, "Who the hell is Dreamer?" Dude, she literally is a transgender character. Jaime Reyes, the Blue Beetle, the modern Blue Beetle. He's Hispanic and Indian. Nothing wrong with that. Bring him in. Rocket, black woman, bring her in. We got Black Lightning with his family. They're all black. Nothing wrong with that. Bring them in. Let the audience see these characters for their original designs. DC, out of Marvel, has quite possibly a plethora of minority characters that were created in the 80s and 90s that no one barely ever talks about. People talk about Static and Black Lightning more than anybody else. They go, "Oh, I'd rather see Black Lightning and Static." I go, "Yeah, but what about Lightning? What about Thunder? What about Rocket? What about Bumblebee? They're all black. They're all black. Where are they?" Jaime Reyes is a Hispanic. Ryan Choi is I believe he's Japanese American or Chinese American. I'll just go with Asian American. Let's go with that until I understand. I don't. Again, I don't know the second Adam very much. I know a little bit about him. I know Ray Palmer. Come on, that's all I ask for. That's all I ask for. I know a good amount about the comics, but my whole thing is, if a character is meant to be this way, what right do you have to change that character just to fit your narrative story? Okay, all right then. That's here or there. You've already done it. You already did it. Let's see the story now. I care about the story. The accuracy could come in later. Now, Batman has Zoe Kravitz playing as Catwoman. People are jumping up and down. I go, well, okay, why? They go, well, Eartha Kitt was Catwoman. Yeah, for one whole season. And the reason why is Julie Newmar was pregnant and got fired because she was pregnant. She got fired because she was pregnant. And then they got Lee Mayweather to come in. She was the second Catwoman. She couldn't get a good rapport with Adam West, and they let her go and brought in Eartha Kitt. And she was Catwoman for one season too. And then they brought back Julie Newmar because everyone didn't like Eartha Kitt. So your whole basis of changing Catwoman is the fact of Eartha Kitt? Okay. But that doesn't mean that, here's the thing, it doesn't mean that Zoe Kravitz is going to be great at this role. It doesn't mean anything. Somebody can say, oh, she was great in this movie. That's that movie. This movie's written differently. Selena Kyle is a completely different character. And if they write her in a very weird way, I'm going to be like, what the heck are they doing with this character? So again, I have to see what they're going to do. That's it. I'm putting it right there. I want to see what they do first. I'm not going to judge anything until I see how they're going to write the character, how they're going to portray the character, and how they're going to design the character. Because people are putting her in the suit that she has in the Arkham series. Who says she's going to have that suit? Who says she's going to have that suit? Everybody's talking about, oh, she has the short hair. She has the boy cut. I'm like, so what? I don't care. I don't care. When they talked about in Dark Knight Rises, they had Homegirl playing as Catwoman. I didn't care. I didn't care. And when I watched the movie, I definitely didn't care. Her character didn't make any sense. Her character made no sense. It didn't. She was not Selena Kyle because she was trying to play her as in the same vein as another actress, and I'm like, that's not how she's supposed to be. She's an independent person. She cares about certain people, yes, but there was always an attraction with Batman. She's always had an attraction for Batman. They go, well, they got married, they got together in the movie. Yeah, but throughout the whole movie, there was little to no attraction. Bruce Wayne, that's one thing. But Batman, the moment she sees Batman, she should be like, whoa, wow. Like there's something about him. So that's all I'm asking. If you're gonna give me a story, at least make the design and the concept of the character fit to the original designs and the character that was portrayed in the comics. That's it. If Catwoman, now here's the thing: if they make this version of Catwoman that she has no feelings for Batman, I'm not gonna have any problems with that because here's the thing: there has been certain instances she had no feelings for Bruce or Batman. She was a common cat burglar. She didn't care. She would cut his face open and get the heck out of there. I'll be okay with it, but it has to make sense of the story. You can't have her have no attraction for him, and all of a sudden, three quarters in the movie, she starts having feelings for him. It's like, really? That makes no sense. That's speeding things up too much. That makes no sense. You got to show she has an attraction for him, but she's not letting it get in. She's not allowing it to get in the way of what her objective is. Same goes for Batman. Okay. So to answer the question, and also I'm gonna put this on pause. This is part one. Part two, I would love to get Hawk on this and have what he says, but I have a feeling I know what he's gonna say. But I want the story first. The story to me is always gonna be paramount over everything. But if you're gonna completely change the character, make it make sense. Make it make sense. You can't just put one concept in there and then completely change the concept into a narrative that makes no sense in the story. And here's the biggest one: Ant-Man. Ant-Man makes no sense. Go back, and if you've ever not watched the first Ant-Man movie, I recommend to watch it. It's actually a good movie. One, they announced that they said in the movie he is a huge burglar. He messes up, but he's good. He's very good at what he does. Two, the man graduated from MIT cum laude. That means he graduated almost top class. That means he's extraordinarily smart in physics and engineering. Three, you established that Henry Pym hired him to try to bust into his place to see if he's good enough to get in and get the suit and get the heck out. And he was close enough to doing it. And four, you established in the movie the reasoning why Hank Pym gave him the suit is because he knew that Lang would not pervert the science. He would not pervert it. He would use it the way it's supposed to be meant to be used. Now, let's catch up in Ant-Man and the Wasp. One, they made him dumb. Like literally, they made Wasp smarter than him in every way, shape, or form. Listen, if she was that smart, they did not establish that in the first movie. They never did. Then why the heck would her father? That you establish in the movie that her father that Hank did not want Janet. Hope. I'm sorry. Her name is Hope. Sorry. Her name is Hope. He did not want Hope anywhere near this because he was fearing of losing her. Okay. But the thing is why the heck did you make her smarter than Scott Lang? That makes absolutely no sense. Made no sense. Two, they made him a complete buffoon. He could barely use the suit. This dude has been trained in this suit by Hank Pym himself. He went off and did his own misadventures, so he should have a good proficiency with the suit. Made him completely a dunce. Like he can't use the suit. The biggest one, this is the biggest one. Hank Pym flipped out on him for getting himself caught. He told him, what gives you the right to use my suit to go gallivant across the world? Well, Captain America came to him for help. You never established in any of the movies, in the first movie, that Hank Pym had a beef with Captain America. And Hank Pym is not too stupid not to know what's going on in the outside world. So he knows that, one, Captain America took out his shield. He took it out, and it got revealed that Hydra was a part of it. Two, he knows that this whole situation in Civil War was about the Winter Soldier, and also the fact of that Hydra was around. So why the heck is he gonna flip out on Scott for getting himself caught? He even more like, you went to go help Cap, didn't you? He goes, yeah, Cap needed my help. I had to go help him. It's Captain freaking America. He's been like, man, and Hope's been like, yeah, you can't get angry at him for that. He goes, yeah, my beef is not with Shield or with Cap. It's with the Starks. And he knows that you did something against Stark. Good. You got captured. That we got to fix that. He would not flip out. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. They only made it make sense because it was part of the narrative of the story. They wanted to create a rift between Hank and Scott, so you got more drama. When there should have been no little levels of drama between the two of them. They should have been okay. Only with the fact of Hank is holding a lot of secrets about what happened with Janet. That's it. So I could never understand what the heck they were doing in that movie. They made him useless. They made Scott Lang useless in his own movie to propel Wasp better than him. Why? It's called Ant-Man and the Wasp, not Wasp and Ant-Man. And she's not the titular character. It's Ant-Man. Because we already got established with his Ant-Man already. So that's what I'm talking about. Those are narratives that makes no sense. Zack did a whole lot better with building the character up and giving us more to want to digest because he was building a complete universe. He wasn't just making popcorn films. Now, Wonder Woman, there was a lot more to it, but then it turned itself into a popcorn film. And that's because of the higher management during that whole situation. So that's all with me. I love Subject Reviews. He does a really good job on his videos. He tries to come with a lot of information to give you guys, and his production rate is good. But I want to throw this video out because it's something I've been thinking about for a while now, and I thought maybe me and Hawk can talk about this because it was going to be part of some of our story, our production, and what I feel is something that's starting to slowly brew within the comic book communities about comic book accuracy, or should you stick with the source materials? And I'm in the middle, semi. I do want accuracy, but I also want them to stick to the original design and the concept of the character, the sex and the race of the character. There's nothing wrong with a black kid wanting to look up to a white person and say, I want to be like that. Nothing wrong with it. My favorite hero, not of all time, but my favorite hero is Batman. Spider-Man is my favorite hero. I love Peter Parker as Spider-Man. I have little regard for Miles Morales. I just don't care. I know how it feels to be that one kid that gets picked on for some strange reason. I'm not the smartest person in the room. But you feel you have that understand being an outsider. And I understand from Batman's perspective that losing everything, falling to a pit of darkness is not what it should not be for everybody. That's how I always concept these characters. I look up to them because of that. I love Black Lightning. I think Jefferson Pierce is probably one of the best African American heroes I've ever seen because his life is filled with a lot of crap and he deals with so much racism and bigotry. It's just like, wow. And he's very, very powerful. Now, I have nothing against T'Challa. I have nothing against Luke Cage. Luke Cage is an inspirational story. Luke Cage should be an inspirational story. And they completely changed it for the Netflix. Luke Cage used to be a gangbanger. Falcon was a drug dealer. And they took it all out to make it seem like, oh, they've always been heroes. What? This should be an inspiration that these guys were doing the stereotypical thing, being black. And they saw something and went, you know what? I can't do this anymore. And they changed their whole life and became heroes. That should be more inspirational than having Luke Cage being the way he was in the TV series. And again, I love the TV series. I thought that the first season was really good. It fell off the cliff in the second half. I thought the second season was good. It just kind of meandered for a little bit, but it was still a good, solid series. But Falcon to me was a travesty. A travesty. You should have did it as he was a drug dealer. He dealt drugs when he was in high school. Got busted by the law, and his parent and his mother died. His dad was pissed off and said, "No, throw this kid out." His grandmother comes in from his dad's side and said, "No, give him an opportunity." You can have his grandmother sitting in the cell with him and saying, "Baby, this is not the life for you." And he's doing that, man. But then out of nowhere, his grandmother gives him a piece of paper and says, "I don't want you to die, and neither did your mother." And you have this heartfelt scene where she gives him a piece of paper, and it's a piece of paper that has him say, "I will go into the military." He screws up in the military, he goes back to jail, and it adds more time to him. So he's like, "What? I'm only gonna get a few years." Yeah, but those few years, you're gonna be out. You're gonna learn how to do a trade. You're gonna learn to get yourself a job. You're gonna be in the military. You'll be able to travel the world for free, dude. This is like the best thing you could do. And he does it. He does it for his grandmother. He does it for his grandmother, and it changes his whole life. And you can still did the whole story of him, how he was in Captain America. Now they could do that in the Falcon and the Captain America and the Winter Soldier, but they really can't. They got to move forward with this story. They can't do back episodes. It's gonna bog the whole thing down. We already know Bucky's. Let's move forward. Now, Falcons, you should have did him as an inspiration. A huge inspiration. And one of the biggest things is, why the hell did he tell Cap? There's a lot of things. But they should have did him as an inspirational story. He was an original gangbanger. He did a lot of damage in his community. And his grandmother told him flat to his face, she doesn't want him to die. She doesn't want him in jail. This is not where you need to be at. You're a smart boy. You love planes. You love flying. Why aren't you being a pilot? Here, sign this piece of paper, go into the military, and do it. Don't do it for you. Do it for me. Do it for your grandma. And you have this huge discussion, and he gets out, goes in the military, changes his whole life. And then it changes not from he's doing it for his grandmother, he's now doing it for himself. And that's what his grandmother's, that was the hook for his grandmother. His grandmother passes, and he basically says he's good. He's good with his dad. He's good with his family. He's doing great. He's doing really good. He's had that PTSD situation that happened because of Riley. But those are the stories that we need to see. Inspirational stories. Stories that shows that they're getting out of the muck and becoming heroes. Luke Cage went to jail for I forgot what it was. He went to jail for some weird reason. But he was a gangbanger. He did a lot of damage in Harlem. But when he went to jail, he went through that program, came back, and said, "No, I'm cleaning my life up." And he cleaned his life up. He met Danny Rand, and they became heroes for hire. They became bodyguards for Harlem, and then they became legends themselves. That's what I want to see, and that's what you should want to see. Inspirational stories. We don't get that with the MCU. You don't. Captain America is one of the only true inspirational stories. A man who basically was a scrawny stick decided, hey, you know what? I want to go in the military. What gives me the right to not want to defend my country? And he proves himself and becomes Captain Effin' America. Now, Iron Man in some ways is an inspiration, but the character himself is a flawed character, and he's been flawed throughout the whole thing up until his death in Endgame. Tony Stark was a flawed character, very flawed, until he finally was able to muster up, man up, and do something about it. So that's why I want to see more inspirational stories. Aquaman is a huge inspirational story. He got orphaned. I don't want to get into all that. I think that a lot of us should understand that. Go watch these movies. Shazam is an inspirational story. Watching these heroes get from the muck, from the darkest recesses of humanity, the darkest recesses of what the world and life has to offer, and then propel themselves up to becoming heroes. That's what gets us to love these heroes. It's not the fact that Superman can bench press a planet. It's not the fact that Aquaman can take a 50 cal bullet to the chest and laugh at it. It's not the fact that Wonder Woman can fight 50 monsters and put her sword in the air and scream out for Hera. It's not about that. Or Batman taking out a warehouse full of bad guys. It's the fact that they are getting themselves out of the muck and they're showcasing why they're heroes, using their understanding of the world, who they are, and why they want to help people. That's what Zack was doing. That's the accuracy that I want. And that sticks to the source material. Zack was doing the source material. He was just doing it in a much slower pace. People are like, what the hell? Dude, why isn't he not Superman? He killed Zod. Oh my God, that's not what Superman would do. He's not Superman. He never called himself Superman. Never did. That was something tacked on by the military. It's in the movie. In the movie. So, guys, everyone out there, I don't want subject reviews to think that I'm throwing shade at his video. No, he did a really good job. He said it from the right. He said, I'm all about accuracy and everything else, and he's on the fence. No. This video here has always been. This video here is to give you guys an understanding. I do want story, but I want the original design and the concept of the character. Zack Snyder was doing it the right way. He was doing it the right way. There are some things Patty Jenkins I didn't like, but there was other things. The who Wonder Woman is in that movie. We got to see how she is in 84 because it's a completely different Wonder Woman. So I go, no, it's not. Yes, it is. It is. It's a completely different Wonder Woman. Now, we don't know how Aquaman's going to be now because they're going to change certain things. We know who Shazam is. They're not going to change that. They're not. They're going to keep going with that. They're going to start filming that pretty soon. Very soon. They want to get this out as soon as possible because these actors are going to start growing up real fast. Asher Angel is going to become 16, 17 years old, and he's going to look like a freaking beefcake. Maybe. The kid who's playing as Freddie Freeman, he's going to almost look like his adult self that he was in Shazam. They look almost deadly alike. It's funny. Most of these kids are going to start looking different. They need to get these movies out as soon as possible. So that's the reason why I have no problem with them changing certain things that make sense to the character. Changing a person's sex, changing a person's race, and changing someone's sexual affiliation or making it that apparent makes no sense if it made no sense if it wasn't a focus in the comics. Now, Renee Montoya, she's gay. She's a lesbian. But if they make that a huge apparent in Birds of Prey, I'm going to be mad. Because that was never a big apparent with her character. It really wasn't. Not until she got with Kate Kane. Until she became the Question. Now, if they make her the Question in this movie, I'm gonna be livid. Where's Rick? I'm sorry, Vic. Where's Vic? Where's Vic Sage? He's the Question. Oh my God. I don't want to get into that. So we got to see. And again, I'm not putting shade on this video. I just want to put mine out there so you guys can see it as it's an understanding of where I am at. I'm being more flexible as long as the story makes sense to the concept that they're building. Suicide Squad made no sense to that version of the Joker. I'm sorry, it made no sense. I'm hoping that Birds of Prey is gonna be good. I really am. I don't care about certain things in there that most people are talking about. No, that doesn't to me. I don't care. I'm gonna give them my money to want to watch this. That's the positive. They're giving my money to want to watch this because I want to see Ewan McGregor and I love Ewan McGregor and I love Margot Robbie and I want to see what they do. But I'm gonna be completely honest. If the movie looks like trash, and this doesn't look like trash, it just makes me go, it's not pulling me to be that confident that okay, I'm gonna have a good time watching this movie. Now again, I could be completely changed. They can make this movie really fun. It can make it where it's supposed to be silly, beyond all measure. I hope they do right with Black Mask. I hope. So like, comment, share, subscribe down below, hit that bell. This is one of the videos I'll have out. Wednesday I might make another video. I don't know yet. There's a lot of stuff I got to do in my personal life right now and get a lot of stuff prepared. I got to see what I'm going to be doing for school. And also I got to see what I'm going to be doing for the gym. So I might have to make one thing go away. So for the time being, until we get certain things situated. So, and also the last week of this month, I will most likely not be doing any videos because our store, where I work at, there's a lot of things going on, and it's not bad. It's actually very good. So it's gonna take a lot more of my time. I'm probably gonna be having a lot of hours, and I'll probably be just going home, sleeping, coming back, going to work, sleeping. I mean, going to work, going home, sleep, and it's gonna be very, very hectic. So I hope that you guys can understand. If I have time to do a short video, I will do a short video just to give you guys a heads up what's going on. And then hopefully the next following week, everything's going to start to tone down a little bit. And then I'll let you guys know because I'll probably be doing a vacation pretty soon. I don't know yet. So thank you for joining me. You guys have a great one. And Subject Reviews, my boy, thank you for giving me a thumbs up. Thank you for mentioning my name. I will always mention you, especially if I love your videos. And any of you guys out there who do your own videos, send them my way. I will watch them and I'll give you guys a thumbs up. Mainly because there's certain things I watch and then on YouTube and I just cut myself off. There's only short amount of times in a day, and then I gotta play video games. And I haven't been playing video games in the last 4 weeks. I haven't played video games in a very long time. So personally, I played with some other people. So thank you for joining me. You guys have a great one. Bye.